Now, apparently, Amazon is planning on cutting a lot of jobs in the future and might be replacing them with AI. And this is a serious problem because this feels like a trend that every company is trying to take because, if you can replace jobs with the AI, it's supposedly cheaper than paying people, and you don't have to deal with all the issues that might come with having people as employees. And for a company, I guess it could be beneficial to get more profits and be more efficient and all that stuff. But if every company starts doing this and if people start losing their jobs, then how are these companies supposed to make money? I wonder if they actually think about this. Now, sure, I guess in the short term, if you think about it, it seems like you can bring in a lot of money just by doing this. The profits could increase massively. But at the end of the day, you need people to buy these products and services. That's how companies make money. They create products, they hire people to create products, and then they sell those products to other people who pay with the money they get from doing jobs for probably a lot of them for companies like this. And if you cut out the employees that are making these products, then the people who are going to buy these products, how are they going to buy it? They need money. And isn't that the whole point of a business, to make money? And sure, right now, I don't think it's going to affect the companies because enough people have enough money that they can keep making money without employing people. But there is a limit to that. People don't have an infinite amount of money they can spend to buy products. So at some point, there's not going to be enough customers, and then what are these companies going to do? Seriously, it is something that these companies should think about in the long term. And honestly, I'm surprised that they're all going all in on this AI stuff. Sure, AI has benefits in terms of efficiency and maybe doing some new stuff in terms of innovation and all that people cannot do. But in the long term, they must have thought about it, and I have no idea why they continue on down this path. Is it just to make the shareholders happy? Sure, the shareholders will get their money, but I think a shareholder would want to make money continuously in the future, not just make a huge lump sum amount for a certain number of years and not get any money afterwards. Assuming that the point of shares is to continuously make money, and this process, it's not going to make money, and that is a problem. Plus, it's also a problem for the government as well because the government needs the tax money paid by the people to run the country. And if the people don't have jobs, so enough jobs to pay the tax amount to keep the country running, then what's the government gonna do? I feel like the government would end up in a position where they're just gonna end up having to tax the companies a huge amount or something just to balance it, because the government needs a certain amount of money, and if people don't have jobs and the money isn't flowing through the economy, there's not going to be enough money, and it's going to be a huge problem. And now again, from any angle you look at it, how does this end well? Now, it obviously doesn't end well for the consumers or the average people who are losing their jobs and losing their income. But even for the companies, I don't see any way that they can keep this going. Feel like there's going to be a breaking point at some stage where companies are going to have to come together and decide to dial back on the AI stuff or just create some new jobs for people so that they can spend money and buy these products. And it feels like a complete mess. I can't believe companies are actually going down this path, and yeah, it's messed up. Now, how will this all end? That's concerning to me. Now, at some point, the governments are probably going to have to step in and stop these companies and make some mandatory rules to employ minimum amount of people if they want to operate. I assume that's the only way that they can keep things going. And I guess in that way, the companies will be forced to hire employees they don't need and pay them salaries that they don't have to. And then the economy will start moving again. But honestly, this feels like a really, really sad thing when you think about it. It feels like, yeah, I don't get it. And I'm trying to imagine a situation where no one has any money and the companies no longer make any money. And maybe they're just fine with it and they stop functioning as after some point and keep the money they have. What's the economy gonna be like? What's society gonna be like when no one has any money to spend except for a few people? The shareholders who are part of the companies who made all the money. What is everyone else gonna do, and what's a society like that gonna look like? It's really, really concerning to me. And it feels like it's happening way too quickly. Now, when we started hearing about this AI stuff, we knew something like this was very likely to happen because it was cheaper for the companies to do this, a business to do this. But it feels like it's gonna be happening really, really quickly now. And at this rate, who knows? Maybe in 10 years, the situation I just described might end up being a reality, and that's really messed up. And yeah, I really hope something like that doesn't happen and these companies, the businesses come to their senses and roll back on the AI stuff, or the governments start intervening and they force them to. Well, I don't think they're gonna force them to ban the AI stuff, but maybe roll back the AI stuff. Honestly, a ban would be nice, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But yeah, sure, maybe for them to roll back the AI stuff so that it doesn't affect the economy. So let's wait and see what happens with that, I guess. But this is really concerning and really sad.